You ever feel like life is a game? And not just any game. A game where every level feels harder than the last. You train, you grind, you fight your way through challenges. And just when you think you got it all figured out, life throws something at you that feels impossible to beat. That's the moment you realize life isn't just a game. Life is the ultimate game, and the final boss is waiting. Now, let me tell you something. Final bosses in video games aren't there just to scare you. They're there to test everything you've learned. They're there to push you to the absolute edge of your skills. They're designed to make you think, I can't do this. And sometimes, life's challenges do the same thing. They hit you with betrayal, failure, heartbreak, and fear. They test your patience, your strength, your endurance. And just like in the games, the final boss doesn't care how tired you are, how much you've sacrificed, or how many times you failed. It only knows one thing. Can you rise to the challenge? Think about it. Every success story you've ever heard, every legend, every hero, they all faced a final boss. It might have been losing everything they had, a sudden health crisis, a career-ending failure, or being underestimated by the world. The final boss isn't just an obstacle. It's a mirror. It reflects back every weakness, every fear, every moment you wanted to quit. And the scary truth? Most people don't make it past this stage. They turn around, walk away, and tell themselves, it's too hard. I'll try something else. But not you. You're still here, watching this video, seeking that spark of motivation that reminds you that giving up is not an option. And that's exactly what separates those who win from those who quit. It's not talent, luck, or even timing. It's persistence. It's the refusal to let the final boss define your story. You define your story. Now, let's talk about strategy. In video games, you don't approach the final boss blindly. You observe, you learn the patterns, you exploit weaknesses, and you prepare like never before. Life works the same way. You can't just stumble into challenges and hope for the best. You need awareness. You need preparation. You need resilience. Every morning you wake up, you're leveling up. Every failure, every disappointment, every sleepless night. Those are your training sessions. They sharpen your mind, strengthen your will, and fuel your determination. And the amazing part, even when it feels like you're losing, you're learning. You're growing. You're becoming stronger than you were yesterday. Here's the brutal truth about facing the final boss. It doesn't matter if you're scared. Fear is inevitable. Doubt is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. But courage? Courage is a choice. Every hero, every successful person, every person who survived their ultimate challenge, they all had fear. They all had doubts. They all faced moments where giving up seemed easier than moving forward. But they chose to fight anyway. That choice, that moment when you refuse to quit, is what creates legends. Life's final bosses are unpredictable. They can appear as a loss you didn't see coming, a betrayal from someone you trusted, or a moment where the world tells you, you're not enough. But the beauty of the final boss is this. They are temporary. No storm lasts forever. No failure lasts forever. And no matter how powerful or terrifying the challenge, it's never unbeatable. The final boss is only strong if you let fear control you. The moment you decide to act, to persist, to fight with everything you've got, that's when the power shifts. Imagine your life as a game. You've beaten levels before. You've overcome obstacles that seemed insurmountable. And now, the final boss awaits. You could walk away. You could quit. You could accept defeat. But think about the alternative. Think about what it would mean to face that boss, every fear, every doubt, every struggle, and come out on the other side victorious. The moment you win, the rewards aren't just external, they're internal. Confidence, strength, resilience, wisdom. You become unstoppable because you face what others ran from. And here's the part most people miss. They think the final boss is just one moment. It's not. It's a journey. It's every choice you make, every small victory, every step forward when you wanted to retreat. The final boss is built from the sum of all your experiences. And every time you choose courage over comfort, perseverance over surrender, action over fear, you're hitting the boss with a new weapon, a weapon forged from your own resilience. You know, there's a saying in gaming, the boss only seems impossible until you understand the pattern. Life's the same. Every setback has a lesson. Every challenge has a key. Every defeat has a doorway to victory. But you have to look for it. You have to train, strategize, and act. You have to push past the frustration, the pain, the moments of despair, and keep moving forward. Let me make one thing clear. Facing the final boss doesn't mean you won't get hurt. You will. You might fail multiple times. You might fall harder than you ever have. But here's the secret. Failure isn't the opposite of victory. It's part of it. Every mistake teaches you. Every loss strengthens you. And every painful moment builds a resilience that can't be taught in classrooms or read in books. You build it by surviving the fight. And the ultimate victory? It's not just defeating the challenge itself. The ultimate victory is becoming the person capable of defeating any challenge. It's growing into your strength, your power, your potential. When you stand tall after facing your final boss, you realize that nothing in the world can ever intimidate you again. Not failure, not criticism, not loss. Because you've already faced the hardest opponent. Yourself, your doubts, your fears, and you've survived. So when life throws you into a battle you feel unprepared for, remember this. The final boss is not there to stop you. The final boss is there to reveal you, to show you how strong you really are, to make you realize that the only limits in life are the ones you accept. And the moment you stop fearing the challenge and start embracing it, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Right now, as you sit there, maybe thinking about your own battles, your own final bosses, you have a choice. You can shrink away. You can make excuses. You can tell yourself, maybe tomorrow, maybe next time. Or you can stand up. You can fight. You can train. You can face every obstacle, every fear, every limit and say, I'm not backing down. I'm not quitting. I'm finishing this game. Because here's the truth. Life doesn't reward the You see, most people never get to see what they're truly capable of because they give up too early. They think the final boss is something outside themselves, a person, a circumstance, a cruel twist of fate. But here's the truth. The real final boss lives inside you. It's your fear, your doubt, your excuses, the voice in your head that whispers, you can't do this. You're not enough. Stop now. That's the boss you've been avoiding your whole life. And if you want to win at life, you must face it. Facing the internal final boss is terrifying. It forces you to confront the uncomfortable truths about yourself, the habits, the mindset, the patterns that have been holding you back. It's easier to blame the world, to cry about injustice, to feel sorry for yourself. But growth never comes from comfort. Growth comes from discomfort. Growth comes from staring at the impossible and saying, I will figure this out. I will fight. I will not be defeated. Think about the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. What they have in common isn't that life was easy for them. It was that they refused to quit. They faced their final boss over and over until their persistence broke the barrier that everyone else said was unbreakable. Every setback they endured, every failure they survived, was a step closer to the victory they sought. And here's the secret. You can do the same. But persistence alone isn't enough. You need focus. You need strategy. You need a mindset that refuses to settle for anything less than your full potential. Life's challenges are tricky. They don't hit you in neat packages. They come in waves, disguised as tiny annoyances or major disasters. And the way you respond to each one determines whether you inch closer to victory or sink deeper into defeat. You have to train yourself to see every challenge as a test, every struggle as an opportunity to level up. Here's an important lesson. The final boss doesn't appear when you're perfect. It appears when you're growing, when you're stepping into a higher version of yourself, when your comfort zone is expanding. That's why it feels so overwhelming. That's why it seems impossible. Because a challenge is designed to push you beyond what you thought you could handle. And every time you push through, every time you refuse to quit, you discover a new strength you didn't know existed. It's not just about surviving. It's about thriving in the fight. Most people think winning means avoiding pain. But the truth is, pain is inevitable. Fear is inevitable. Loss is inevitable. What separates the winners from the losers is how they handle it. Winners embrace the struggle. They use it. They turn every obstacle into fuel for growth, every criticism into motivation, and every failure into a stepping stone toward the next level. Imagine for a moment that life is a video game. You're facing a boss with multiple stages, each one harder than the last. At first, you might think you're not ready. You might get knocked down repeatedly. You might feel hopeless. But every attempt teaches you something. Every failure shows you a pattern, reveals a weakness you can exploit, or uncovers a hidden strength. And the more you try, the more prepared you become. Victory isn't instant. It's earned step by step, move by move, decision by decision. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is the final boss's weapon. It's the invisible force that stops people from trying, from taking action, from believing in themselves. Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready, that you're too weak, that the challenge is too big. And here's the secret. The moment you act despite fear, you weaken its hold. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in the face of it. And every small act of courage builds momentum until fear no longer controls you. Another truth, you are stronger than you think. Your mind, your spirit, your heart. They have capacity to endure, adapt, and conquer that most people never tap into. But the final boss doesn't let you discover this without a fight. It's designed to test your limits, to stretch them, and then show you that the limits were never real. They were illusions you believed in. Once you realize this, once you understand that you have untapped power inside you, nothing in the world can hold you back. Let's be real. There will be moments when you feel defeated. When it seems like the battle is too big, the odds too stacked, and the world too unfair. In those moments, remember this. The final boss doesn't define you. Your response does. The strength you build in these moments, the resilience you cultivate, the determination you summon, this is what shapes the hero you are becoming. Every setback, every knockdown, every moment of doubt is a test. And every test you pass brings you closer to victory. Here's a powerful thought. The final boss is not meant to break you. It's meant to reveal you. It's meant to show you who you are when everything is stripped away. When life challenges you at your core, when it pushes you to the edge, when it tells you, you can't go any further, that's the moment you discover your true potential. And when you push through, when you rise despite the fear and the pain, you achieve something far greater than defeating a single challenge. You achieve mastery over yourself. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if the challenges ahead seem impossible, if fear is whispering that you're not enough, don't listen. Stand tall. Focus. Plan. Train. Fight. And remember this. Every champion, every hero, every person who has faced the ultimate test started exactly where you are right now, with doubt, fear, and uncertainty. The difference is they chose to rise anyway. And so can you. Every final boss has a weakness. Every challenge has a solution. Every problem has a way forward. And your task is to find it, to fight through it, to refuse to surrender. The final boss is not your enemy. It's your opportunity, your chance to grow, to learn, to become unstoppable. And when you finally overcome it, when you finally rise victorious, the feeling is indescribable. It's the kind of victory that changes you forever. So take the lessons from the first battles, embrace the challenges ahead, and remember, life is testing you for a reason. The final boss is not there to defeat you. It's there to make you the hero of your own story. And the day you finally beat it, you won't just win, you'll transform. You'll become stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever comes next. By now, you probably realize something important. Life's final boss isn't fair. It doesn't follow rules. It doesn't give warnings. And it doesn't care about your plans. But here's the truth. Fairness isn't required for victory. What's required is resilience. What's required is action. What's required is refusing to give up no matter how many times you get knocked down. Think about the moments in your life when everything seemed impossible. Maybe it was a loss you never expected, a failure that shook your confidence, or a challenge that felt insurmountable. In those moments, you had a choice, to surrender or to fight. And even if you failed, every attempt gave you experience, insight, and strength. Every hit you took prepared you for the next move. Every setback taught you a lesson the easy way never could. Here's the thing about final bosses. They test not just your strength, but your mindset. They want to see if you can endure, if you can adapt, if you can keep going when the world is stacked against you. And the ones who win aren't necessarily the strongest. They're the ones who refuse to quit. They're the ones who rise again and again, even when it hurts, even when hope seems distant, even when every reason inside them screams to stop. You might be wondering, how do I fight when I feel weak? How do I rise when the challenge seems bigger than me? The answer is simple, one step at a time. You don't need to solve everything at once. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to start. One small victory leads to the next. One decision to keep going creates momentum. One moment of courage strengthens your resolve. And before you know it, you've transformed fear into power, pain into fuel, and doubt into determination. Remember this. Every hero, every successful person, every legend you admire started where you are right now, facing fear, uncertainty, and challenge. They didn't have a magic solution. They didn't have a guaranteed path. What they had was persistence. What they had was courage. What they had was a refusal to let the final boss dictate the end of their story. And that's exactly what you need to do. Life's final boss also teaches patience. Victory rarely comes overnight. The climb is long, the battle is grueling, and the world will test you in ways you never imagined. But every struggle, every challenge, every moment you push through builds character. It molds you into someone capable of facing not just a day's battles, but every challenge that comes after. And that is the true reward, not just surviving the fight, but becoming someone who can never truly be defeated. Here's a reality check. Quitting is easy. Running away feels comfortable. But comfort never leads to growth. Growth, strength, and true success come from a fight. The fight where your heart races, your hands shake, and the odds feel impossible. That's where heroes are born. That's where legends are made. That's where the final boss loses its power over you. So if you're facing your own life's final boss right now, I want you to do one thing. Breathe. Focus. Step forward. Take the first action you can, no matter how small. Each move chips away at the challenge. Each choice strengthens your spirit, and each moment of courage brings you closer to victory. The final boss doesn't get stronger than you. It only seems stronger until you realize your power. And one last truth. When you finally overcome this challenge, when you finally defeat the final boss, you'll see it wasn't just about winning. It was about discovering who you really are, what you're capable of, and what it means to rise above fear, doubt, and struggle. It's about realizing that no matter what life throws at you, you are stronger than any challenge, braver than any fear, and more capable than you've ever imagined. Now, you're at the final stretch. The battle has been long, grueling, and full of moments that made you question yourself. The final boss is no longer just a concept. It's real, looming, testing everything you've learned, everything you've endured, and everything you become. But here's the truth. This is the moment you were made for. Every struggle, every failure, every moment of doubt has been preparing you for this very fight. Life doesn't give warnings before the hardest challenges. It doesn't pause to let you gather courage. It throws obstacles in your path, and the only way forward is through. And as terrifying as that may seem, this is where heroes are forged. This is where ordinary people are transformed into extraordinary versions of themselves. The final boss isn't there to break you. It's there to reveal you. Think about it. Every time you face a challenge, every time you felt defeated and yet got back up, you were already fighting your final boss. It wasn't just external obstacles. It was a fear inside you, the doubt, the voice that said, I can't. And each time you chose to fight anyway, you weakened that voice, strengthened your resolve, and sharpened your mind. That's how victories are earned. Not in the absence of fear, but in spite of it. Now is the moment to put everything you've learned into action. Focus, plan, move with intention. The final boss may seem unbeatable, but remember this. No challenge can withstand a heart fully committed to victory. Courage, persistence, and belief in yourself are stronger than any obstacle. The more you act, the more momentum you create. The more momentum you create, the smaller the final boss becomes. Until eventually it isn't final anymore. It's just another victory. The beauty of this battle is that it's not just about overcoming the challenge. It's about who you become in the process. You emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever imagined. You realize that life's obstacles are temporary, but the strength you build from facing them is permanent. You realize that every failure, every setback, every painful moment was shaping you into a force that can never be defeated. So stand tall, take a deep breath, step into the arena of your life with confidence. Know that the final boss has no power over you unless you let it. Every challenge you face, every fear you conquer, every obstacle you overcome is proof of your strength. You are the hero of your story. You are the warrior who refuses to quit. You are unstoppable. And when you finally defeat this final boss, when you rise above the struggle, break through the barriers, and claim your victory, you'll understand something incredible. The battle was never about the boss. It was about you. It was about discovering your courage, your resilience, and your power. It was about proving once and for all that no matter what life throws at you, you can endure, you can conquer, and you can triumph. Your final boss is waiting. But so is your greatness. Step forward, fight with everything inside you, and rise victorious.